Hi, this is Michael Uslan. You're listening to Batman on Film.
I'm vengeance.
I have given a name to my pain.
The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. I'm Batman.
Hey now, welcome to episode number 58 of the Batman on Film Social Hour. I am the founder of Batman on Film, Jett Ramey. And here again is senior BOF contributor Ryan Lauer. How many times have you seen the Batman? No, total. Have you seen it since we last talked a week? What was it? Monday?
I think Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill, I'm going through withdrawal.
No
marks
way.
a week since I've seen it last, and doesn't feel good.
You going to take in a screening this weekend?
I want to.
You want to?
It totally just depends. Yeah.
Okay.
It just depends on how the weekend unfolds. But yeah, it makes me feel a little sad because I want to watch it again. Anybody else listening can laugh and be like, "Man, that's pathetic," but I don't care.
I think Micah Ramey, he's at number 6. His goal is
Good for him.
his goal is 10 before it leaves theaters. I was going yesterday, had tickets, and then I was just too damn busy, so I took my Fandango credit, and I'm planning to either go tomorrow or Monday. I like to go in. I might do it tomorrow, or I could.
Did you
do
get
it
in
this
your
afternoon.
IMAX screening?
I have not, but you know what?
I have.
It is still in IMAX, so they've updated on Fandango. So the dates, I think it'll be there until. Are they going to put Morbius in IMAX?
I don't know, but in a weird, that Sandra Bullock movie, I thought that I saw that's going to be an IMAX, but I don't. I think that it'll be like a rotation sort of deal between that and the Batman, and then probably Morbius. I'd imagine.
I saw some dates through next week for Batman and up here, Dallas Fort Worth.
I recommend it.
IMAX.
Seeing the movie is the most important, of course, but if you want something different, I mean, IMAX looked and sounded pretty great.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm going to take in a XD screening sometime this weekend. Yeah, today or
Can't go
tomorrow.
wrong there either.
Okay. All right. So just and I'm going to update. I've been updating on Mondays or usually Sunday because the numbers come in. I've been keeping up with the box office for the Batman. This is pretty good news. It took in 10 million plus yesterday, Friday, domestic. And that's only minus 43 drop off from last Friday. So if it has another weekend of, if it's only in the like minus 40 something, that's like super good. Super good.
I thought I saw almost like a estimate of 40 to 45.
Yeah. That
this
was
weekend.
Yes. It's estimated.
And last weekend was what, like it was between 65 and 68. And yeah, that's a small drop off.
Yeah.
Too. So that's just showing some legs.
Batman's
got legs.
Yeah, it does. So it stands as of through yesterday. If you can include Friday, I believe it's 273.9 million domestic. So it's going to go over 300 here. Maybe this weekend, looks like. And it's definitely going to go over 500 million worldwide.
Already has. I think it came out Thursday. I think it came out or yesterday. I'm not sure.
The last one, the last one I looked, and that was today. Basically 499.8 million.
Okay.
So it's got to be over, if not already. So that's going to happen.
So from Warner Brothers' perspective, everything now is just gravy.
Yeah.
You think they've cleared the budget, all that stuff, all the costs? Nice.
Yeah. I was just comparing it to other DC films. It looks like it's got a good chance to be in the top 5, maybe even top 4, which would put they could be seriously the top 5 Batman movie or DC movies could be Batman. It could be the Dark Knight trilogy, Joker, and the Batman.
What about Wonder Woman?
It would have to move Wonder Woman out.
Or are you talking worldwide? I know this is getting nitty gritty.
I'm talking just domestic. Just domestic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Joker is like 320 something?
Because this is
400.
I don't think it's going to make as much domestic as a lot of these other films, just because of the type of movie it is. And then China is dealing with some COVID bullshit they're locking down over there. So the box office won't be as high there. I'm trying to find these numbers I posted real quick. Well, here we go. The top 3 DC movies domestic are Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, Wonder Woman. Okay. That's what I meant. I meant Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises. I didn't mean the entire trilogy. Batman will go past Man of Steel for sure this weekend. So Joker's 335.5 million domestic. Wonder Woman.
I think that's just barely over Aquaman too. Joker is. So I think the Batman's going to clear those.
Yes.
For sure.
So then it would be you have to take Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman is 412.5. So it's going to make a run at that.
Yeah.
If it overtakes Wonder Woman, yeah, man, it could be the top 3 would be Batman movies: Dark Knight, Dark Knight Rises, the Batman. That would move Joker to 6. Anyway, it's doing well. It's got legs. That means word of mouth is good. People are going to see it. And hell, I know I'm doing my part.
Going to see it again.
Contributing to the box office. Yes. Okay. So I'll have those updated numbers on Batman on Film Sunday or Monday. And we're going to talk a little about Batman and about the unseen Arkham prisoner. So if you have not seen the Batman, you want to probably stop. I'll give you a heads up before we get there, because we're going to talk spoilers from the film and hypothesize a bit of where it could go with that character. But just some real quick news. The Batman universe, the Batman universe. Let's just call it the Batman TBU hashtag TBU. Okay. So we've got a film, right? The Batman. We've got 2 TV. Well, do we call that? Do we say TV shows if they stream on HBO Max? Is that still proper?
Still is. Yeah. I think that's still TV series.
Okay. Is it kind of like, Kleenex is really a tissue and Vaseline is really petroleum jelly? We just say TV show because that's what we call it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So HBO Max is going to be the home for the Penguin and Arkham. I'm assuming it's going to be called Arkham. I don't know what they're going to. Yeah.
I hope so. That'd be great.
Yeah. Just call it Arkham, right?
Arkham. We know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to call it Arkham. It's called Arkham State Hospital in the Batman, but I don't see them calling it Arkham State Hospital for a TV show. But anyway, we got those 2 spinoffs. They're live action. The Batman universe also is in book form with the prequel novel before the Batman. That counts, right?
Yeah.
And now we're getting a comic book as part of the Batman universe written by the Riddler himself, Paul Dano, and it's called Riddler Year One, coming in October. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
So
I saw comments of people saying, "Oh, like perfect. The actors who embody the character should be the ones writing it." I don't necessarily just flat out agree with that, because I've seen some interviews where actors even say, of like, we're actors. If something needs change with dialogue or whatever, we're actors. We're not writers.
yeah,
So like they credit, like they notice it themselves of like, no. We're not to the level of the writers of writing this stuff.
mm-hmm.
So it's not necessarily the case, but Paul Dano, what's different, I don't know if he's written any movies or anything, but I know because in interviews, he just speaking casually, how instantly he drops comic book knowledge. And I know that sounds nerdy, but it's like, no, this guy, he's a fan at heart of the medium, of the material, of Batman's history and stuff, to where it's much like you've said many times here, Reeves is a full-on Batman fan, Pattinson's a full-on Batman fan. It seems that Paul Dano is a flat-out comic book fan too. And that just gives you a little bit more like, this guy's coming at it with a passion, with like a fire.
And he's probably got writing talent as well.
I'd imagine so. I know he's directed his own stuff, and I just feel like if you're a director, you probably write too.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
See where that goes. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything else like that. If there are going to be other comic books that are tied into the Batman universe. In fact, hell, I just a quick plug for Batman on Film. I created a new category for the website. It's called the Batman Universe. So everything related to that, whether it's Penguin, Arkham, the Batman sequel, the books, the comics, all part of the Batman universe, which is,
I feel like this has got you all juiced up, just like after Begins came out.
Yeah, I'm fired up, dude.
You got your own Congo line.
I've had so much fun the last month. I mean, this is like if I see it this weekend, which I'm going to make a point of seeing it, maybe today when announcer Rachel gets back from running her errands. You know how women and errands on Saturdays, you know what that means? That's
There's
shopping.
lists. Saturday mornings are.
I'm going to go
busy.
run some errands, which really means I'm going to either North Park Mall or Stonebriar Mall, and I'm going to shop. Right.
Well, Bill, if that's the definition, then I'm guilty of shopping on Saturday mornings.
Okay. Yeah.
My Batman goodies somehow end up here on Saturday mornings.
Okay. I got you with that.
All right.
I understand that. That's different.
Yeah. That's Batman stuff's different.
That's different. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's fun.
So, like I said, okay, we got film, we got TV, novel, comic book. Here's a question I want to ask you that I posed on Twitter, and I also posed on our Facebook group. Would you like to see it extend into animation, specifically animated film?
Oh yeah.
And not necessarily with it featuring Batman. What about something like, and I'm spitballing, I'm not a creative, really. A movie with like a spy thriller focusing on Alfred when he was doing when he was in the service, something like that, something that's part of the universe that helps build the world, but it's not a Batman story per se.
I feel like that's that Pennyworth show,
kind of, yeah.
It's on right now, which I haven't seen, but the people who have watched it say it's actually really good.
Okay, well, that's just an example. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to think of a character that we saw in the film that would be interesting enough to have that be a focus of an animated film, you know?
Yeah, I would. This could be your GCPD.
Yeah.
Since that's being put on the shelf for a while, at least, quote unquote. Maybe that's what you do is an animated film of, GCPD. The tricky part, because that's what we were told, and I know you brought it up in your question of like Gotham Knights in 2008 and how but that's loosely connected to the Nolan world. I imagine something like that, except not like a bunch of different stories.
That was more like an anthology, right?
Anthology, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I like it, but I don't love it, but I like it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like a tricky balance, because you could also include Batman, but you'd have to like stories that I want to say kind of have no effect on the Batman movie, because you don't want it to be like you have to watch this the animated film to understand. It's got to be able to stand on its own.
That's why I look at it from like a world building point of view. But on the other hand, I will say, just to play devil's advocate, yeah, it could be a GCPD show or young Alfred show or whatever. But if Batman's not in it, will it sell? You know what I mean? As an animated film. I mean, look at DC's animated stuff. It's mostly,
that's what I was going to say too, is somehow including Batman, because there is a hesitancy, I think. And if it's not Batman, then it might not do well. And I don't know the numbers of recent fare that doesn't have Batman, which isn't too much. But I mean, we saw last year with Batman Soul the Dragon, Batman himself in suit was hardly in it.
Yeah.
And Bruce Wayne wasn't in it a ton.
I was going to bring that up. And there's, I think there's a couple other examples where you see Batman all over the cover art and he's in the trailer, but the character in the actual movie is not in it hardly at all,
Yeah. And I understand that for them to get Sold the Dragon, which is a movie that I did like.
Yeah.
You put Batman on there, and I feel like that's how they were able to get that green light. But I could see a lot of people being disappointed because they see Batman, so they go to watch it. And it's like, I was waiting for Batman.
And
Batman
it's a kung fu movie, man.
It's a kung fu movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm a Batman fan. So yeah, put Batman.
I'm just throwing
Batman in it, but
I'm just throwing that out there, to see what people think.
Let's be serious. I'll be in and whatever they release. They know I'm a sucker. I'm going to spend my money on whatever they come up with.
Friend of the show, the great Tim Sheridan, the writer of The Long Halloween, even responded to my tweet and says, "You know where I'm at, or where I stand on this." I was like, "Get to work, sir."
Hop to it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about back to the Batman. We did a 2-part. Two of the last 3 social hours. We actually talked about the Batman in all 3. Michael Uslan was in that middle show. But it wasn't the Batman specific, though there are 2 Batman full discussion shows, plus one show that's a non-spoiler review. So this is going to focus on something specific, and that would be, and this is where you want to, if you have not seen the Batman and you plan on seeing it sometime, this is where the spoilers are going to kick in. So see the Batman and come back and pick it up then. All right. Everybody good? You gone? You still here? If you're still here we go. The unseen Arkham prisoner is which character, Ryan? Have you figured that out yet?
The clown prince of crime himself, the Joker.
Okay. Played by Barry Keoghan. And I'm assuming you're here. If you're here, you're with us. You saw it. When I first saw it, I thought it was, that's the only thing I knew was coming. Really. I knew that I'd heard about that. So you want to call me spoiled? I was spoiled. My first thing was, when I first saw the Batman, I was like, God, I can't find anything negative really about it to say. And I guess I was like, at first, like, okay, did you really need that scene in the Batman? And then I listened or read an article with Matt Reeves where he talked about, there were 2 scenes filmed. One was left in, the one that's there. It's the Riddler and the Joker in Arkham next to each other in cells. And then there's a scene where Batman confronts the Joker. and I'll get to that in a second. And because he's kind of, it seems like a kind of a Hannibal Lecter type thing, because he's coming to find out information from the Joker to help him take down the Riddler,
Mhm.
kind of like
Yeah.
Clarice and Hannibal Lecter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after hearing Matt Reeves explain why he cut one and he kept the other, he said it wasn't really to say we're setting up the next movie. It was a world building thing.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted the idea that these Batman villains that we know of are creeping around Gotham. There may not be their fully formed versions yet, but they exist. And the Batman in year one at some point had a confrontation with the Joker and took him down, because I think some of the dialogue is the Joker says to Batman in that scene that was cut was, well, it's almost our year anniversary, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's sometime during year one, Batman fought the Joker and took him down. So after reading Reeves talking about the world building and this and that, and after seeing the Batman again, I specifically watched that scene from that point of view, and I get why it's in there. I totally get the reason why it's in there. And so what's your take on that scene? And then we'll pick up from there with future stuff, maybe hypothesize a bit.
I liked it. I think I could have gone either way. For me, it would the more impact made on me was that we did another checkup on Edward Nashton.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we got to hear from Joker.
Yeah.
Because what was the last that we saw was him looking out the bar windows and yelling boom when the explosions were going off. And then I don't think we check up on him again until we go back to Arkham. So that was just something with me. I don't know. I liked that of he feels defeated and he's seeing all this. And it's just like that worked for me on the characterization of him. And then it was like, oh, and here's a little bit more. Of course, when we went back and checked on him, because I too got spoiled on it a long time ago, I think. Probably after you knew way before I did, but
is that my fault?
No, you didn't tell me any. Okay. This wasn't you. It was classic internet. Even when you're trying to avoid it, like stuff still.
Yeah.
But it's because we're in this space. But yeah, when it checked on that, and then and then it's like the camera, you see another cell, and I was like, oh, this must be the Joker spot. Can I talk about okay? So yeah, there you go. Your first question was, what I think? I liked it. More of an impact because it was checking up on Edward Nashton. And then you can see Joker kind of doing what Joker does in his manipulation. He may actually be a fan of Edward Nashton because this guy's causing chaos, but he's also manipulative. So I think we're seeing the sowing of the seeds between those two characters.
Okay.
So now to the Reeves interview that you read in an article that I also did, and I was going a long answer, but Reeves said this wasn't serving as Joker is the next villain in the next movie.
Yeah.
This was more the approach of world building. I agree with that. And I agree if there's comparisons that want to be made to the end of Begins, I think Nolan also achieved world building, but his did feel like the next movie is the Joker.
Yeah.
Even though Nolan always says, and I fully believe him, why wouldn't I, that everything into this movie, we're not guaranteed a next one, which is the same mantra that Reeves has.
Mm-hmm. But
it just felt like, oh man, like the Joker is going to be in the next Batman movie.
Yeah.
This one, it did not feel like
I think
Joker's going to be in the next Batman movie.
With Batman Begins, there was no other option. Yeah. Even if that wasn't Chris's purpose of including the Joker card scene, it was like, okay, you're going to do that and not do Joker, I agree that this comes off more world building. And I will say The other thing I got when I looked specifically at that scene after my, second, third, fourth viewings is that it concludes Edward Nash and the Riddler's arc in the film as well. He is defeated, because I think some of the complaints was, well, the Riddler, he won. Everything that he planned to do happened, except kill Bruce Wayne. But the Riddler felt defeated, that Batman defeated him.
Batman defeated him, and also Batman wasn't his accomplice like he thought he was. Exactly. So kind of betrayed too a little bit.
Yeah. So you had that. Yeah, you had to have that in there. And if you want to do it with, with the Joker playing off of that, with Edward, one day you're, what is it? One day you're on top of the world, and I forget the exact.
Next day you're a clown.
You're a clown.
He says
Yeah.
Clown.
Yeah.
But I think so. Begins, I think, almost to me, which I know this is also a thing that Nolan liked to do, of the movie continues on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun for me, and I felt it was a little world building because Joker's still out. Like, Gordon says, this guy, Joker's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to wait 3 years to see the Joker out there, but like our imaginations could go a little crazy of, oh, there's a guy out there in Gotham and stuff like that. Whereas this is, oh, he's holed up in Arkham also. But that's where it's like, it's different, a different way of world building, which totally works for me also.
Okay. So that's where I want to go. And I want to ask you, do you want to see the Joker in the next film as the main villain, or would you prefer him a little bit more Joker, but lurking, that we know he's there, kind of getting to a slow build up to where when there is this Batman versus the Joker, maybe in the Batman 3 or whatever it's called, that it's, you got a slow burn up to it. The Joker's around, this and that, but it almost seems a little bit, and I hate saying this because I think Batman's got great villains. It's almost anticlimactic after the Batman versus the Joker sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with. So there's like multiple avenues. I think. One,
I think he's going to be in the Arkham series somehow.
Okay,
I do 100%.
Well, this is also something that you say of, I think who Matt Reeves decides should be the villain in the next movie.
Yeah.
But if you want to ask me, I don't want him to be the main villain in the next movie. My own sense, the Joker is my favorite like fictional villain ever.
Yeah.
Period.
Sure. So
yeah, of course, I want to see Batman. I want to see Joker, but I agree with you too of a build up to that. Let's get some anticipation, in which maybe people already have that, and that's cool. But it's like, instead of another classic, just Batman versus Joker, if you want to include, I feel like to keep this going, he has to be included somehow in the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
That what if he's a supporting character, because that hasn't really been done before either.
Would you like to keep his full-on look a mystery until we get full-on Batman versus Joker?
Full-on look of him. Let's say he is his last scene. Mm-hmm. That's the big punchline, if you will, is that's when we see the full look of him. And then it's like, that's the last scene of him in the movie. And that's kind of like our next tease for the next movie, Batman versus Joker facing off. But I kind of think of, did you play Arkham Origins, the video game?
I did.
Okay. So you know how it
underrated as hell.
I love that game.
Yeah.
And I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
We were led to believe, story-wise, I'm not talking behind the scenes stuff, but we had all these like smaller villains. We had Penguin. It seemed like Black Mask was becoming the big villain in this. Mm-hmm. And then there was this big scene, and it seems like there's Black Mask coming up. Then there's like another Black Mask, I think, and takes off the mask, and it's Joker. And Joker, I think, shoots Roman Sionis and kills him. I haven't played it in quite a while, but I think that was like Joker's big reveal. But in this game, you've got Penguin, Black Mask, Killer Croc, Bane. Like you have these other ones too, and Joker wasn't even revealed until very far along in the game, and then he became eventually the main one at the very end.
Yeah.
Similar to that, I think is something that's never been done before in a Batman movie. I'm like, man, that'd be a good way of you. The Joker ends up being the main guy,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like, oh, this is another Batman versus Joker story.
Does
that make sense?
Yes, I get you 100%. I like that. And it's kind of the slow burn type thing as well.
Yeah.
Will this be, I fancy myself a semi-professional or amateur. I'll go with amateur, but I don't know. Kind of a semi-professional Batman historian, right? Would that
Batman
be fair?
historian.
Okay.
Just own it, Bill. Okay. You're a Batman historian.
Tell me if I'm excluding the 66 movie, which I don't exclude it. It's not on an island for me. Okay. But for purpose of this exercise,
okay,
based on the Warner Brothers French series, starting with 89, just concluding them. Will this be the first time we see Batman versus the Joker where they've met before? Because there was no Batman. I mean, Batman 89, there was a Joker origin story, right?
Yeah.
The Dark Knight, they shows him the Joker card at the end of Begins, but Batman and Joker have never interacted until the events of the Dark Knight. Even Batman says in Dark Knight, him again, this guy or the full, or the entire mob. He's not worried about the Joker. Yeah. Am I missing something there with Dark Knight or Batman 89 as far as the confrontation? So those films featured the first confrontation between the two characters, right?
Correct. And
this will not, because we know that in the Batman world, Batman universe, when we do see them meet, and that's going to happen at some point. Yeah. It's going to be a major part of one of the films. Batman and the Joker have met in year one, where Batman took him down, put him in Arkham. That's happened already. Different angle, right? Than previous.
Yeah. I think what you could do. Yeah, I'm telling Matt Reeves what you could do. But those early reports, rumors, whatever you want to say, of Reeves working on the script for this, and it was like an established, and Batman was visiting established villains or something.
Yes.
I love that idea in live action. More, and the Dark Knight trilogy included more villains than people may instantly think.
Sure.
But almost, I don't know, like he hops to like 4 or 5 different villains that we all know and recognize, and then Joker becomes the one behind it all, running the scenes. But I don't know, something like that I think would be really cool. But then also, yeah, it's almost like it's more than just a tease and a cameo, but he's not the 3rd, 4th name on the call sheet either. Yeah. Saving it and really building up for that confrontation that could be, because you're just going to, they know it too, because the producer, Dylan Clark, had said that he even told Nolan, we're coming after the Dark Knight. Yeah. You're going to have Batman versus Joker. You're going up against the Dark Knight, one of the greatest, if not the greatest comic book movies of all time. And people know that and remember that. It doesn't matter that it's going to be 14 years old. It's still fresh. So it's like, how do you do that different and just as impactful too? Yeah. That's quite a challenge, in which that's good, because we got to take some big swings here. Yeah. Well, they won't, but that's a challenge. And it's a challenge. It's Reeves and Dylan Clark and probably Pattinson and everyone has accepted. Yeah, you want to be better. That's not shitting on the Dark Knight trilogy of the Dark Knight. No. That's respect, man. You're great. This is the pinnacle. We want to be that, to match it and exceed it. Yeah. Yeah. I think also because it seems that Reeves is very is a big fan of your pal Lee Bermejo.
Mm-hmm.
If that Joker story, illustrated by him, written by Brian Azzarello,
Yeah.
would have any kind of influence on what he does with the Joker himself, whether it's he gets out of Arkham and finds his own crew, his own Johnny Frost. Not that he's going to be the star, not that he would be the star and we're following him, but you know what I mean, as far as Joker hopping around and visiting known villains in the Batman world and in Gotham and stuff too. I wonder. I have no idea, but I wonder.
It'll be interesting to see what stories from the comics that Reeves will use as inspiration, because there's a lot in the Batman that he used for inspiration. So that'll be cool. You know, like with, for example, Dark Knight, you could say the Joker is there is a bit of the Killing Joke with that Joker and Batman relate, you know, with his, you want to know how I got these scars? That was a riff off of Joker having multiple origins, and you know, if I'm going to have an origin, make it multiple choice or whatever the line is. There's a little bit of Batman #1, 1940, with the Joker announcing his crimes before they happen. And so I'll be interested to see what Reeves pulls from, you know, with the Joker.
Because we can scrap Joker's first appearance, I think, because that's been done before. The origin story we can scrap.
Yeah.
And so then that does lead to other Joker stories, which what are top tier Joker stories to influence, not like a page to screen adaptation, but to influence it in little parts. And like, what would be Joker's, what would be his mantra, you know, because we know the chaos aspect, for better or worse. The Jared Leto's Joker was a gangster, you know, the gangster approach, which I thought was very different from Ledger, but it just didn't work. Yeah. Nicholson's Joker was the Marshall Rogers type. Yeah. So what do you like? I feel like there is that one's been done. This version's been done. This has been done. So what else do we love? What do we pull from to influence ours? What is our Joker's mission? Yeah. His point of view and stuff. And I mean, that's exciting. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And just a little bit about the aesthetic. We haven't seen it yet. I think that they are going to release. Well, I don't think. Reeves has said we're going to release that Batman Joker scene. And he's also basically alluded to the fact that, okay, it wasn't in the movie, but it still happened. Right? You know, when he cut it, he didn't cut it from the Batman universe reality. It happened, and we just didn't see it in the movie. And I don't think we don't get a really good look at the Joker, but he has said that he said it's not the cut smile like Nolan did, which was kind of Bermejo inspired. It's not fall into a vat of acid deal. He's got some sort of birth defect where his mouth is in a perpetual smile grin. You know, it's like Frozen. And he talked about the movie, The Man Who Laughs, the silent film, with Conrad Veidt playing that role. And that's one of the inspirations for the Joker when they created the character back in 1940. So it'll be interesting to see, besides just this permanent grin, how else he looks, you know? Yeah. I just from the little bit, I don't know about you. I mean, I'm trying to watch each time so I can get a better idea of what he looks like. He's got long hair, it appears. You can see the teeth, right? You know, you can kind of see the grin, but not full on. And his face looks like there is some kind of scarring, but not like Two-Face scarring. Like, it's hard, to explain. It's not
it didn't come off chalk white, right?
Yeah. No,
So-
it didn't. So he's not perma white. Is that what
No,
you're saying?
and
I
that
don't-
means
yeah.
that you just throw that shit out the door. Doesn't
How do you
count.
so you wouldn't be surprised if you see him in the Arkham series.
I think he will be in the Arkham series. I think it'll be. I don't know how much of a good look we'll still get with him in that
I
thing.
know. I just feel like that is I think Joker is a big screen reveal.
Yeah,
That's just how I feel.
but I,
I don't
mean,
know
if
anything.
if Arkham takes place after the Batman, which apparently it does, the Joker's
We all
there.
know he's there.
He's there.
Yeah. Mhm.
The Riddler's there. What other villains in their early stages are there? As long as it's not Two-Face, I'll be okay. I want to see Harvey Dent. We talked about
On a
that.
Harvey Dent movie, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, some other ones. My goodness. What if you do Arnold Wesker?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he fits perfectly with that. You know, he's got issues. He thinks that a puppet really
Yeah.
talks and tells him what to do.
hmm
I mean, you could dig deep, like Cornelius Stirk. That's a
Yeah.
creepy ass villain that you could have in there. I mean, Victor Zsasz has gotten noticed, which is good, but I
Mhm.
don't think that we necessarily need him.
Calendar Man.
Calendar Man for sure. Kite Man. No, I mean,
Sure.
Crazy Quilt. Keep
Crazy
going.
Quilt. Condiment
Mad Hatter.
King.
Mad Hatter.
Mad Hatter. I mean, you got to do.
I want, man, Mad Hatter he can be such like a cool cold open, and that's like scary as hell at like
Yeah.
an old theme park or something. I've long waited for
Yeah,
him. Maybe this will be it. And I mean, you have the usual players, but it'll be interesting which ones they use. And I think I heard it from you first, say, of the Arkham series or the Arkham show. Hugo Strange is a doctor working.
oh
there.
yeah, yeah.
Bring it on.
Okay,
Overdue.
Well, how will Harley play a role in it?
Yeah.
Not Harley Quinn, but Dr. Harleen Quinzel.
Harley
I mean,
Quinzel.
do we see that? I mean, it's all sorts of things.
Man, so she's
This
becoming
is really I can get,
Ugh.
you know, Reese said, he goes, I really like the idea of the Gotham PD show.
Mhm.
And this, and more often than this, I see why. It's a really, man, that's a big time. You could do some big time world building, probably more you could do with a GCPD show. So I get it.
So hear my pitch, Bill.
Yeah.
I thought in a way that a cool Arkham series is almost like the episodes are bookended by this like circle session
Yeah.
with a doctor and these Gotham villains. And it almost plays like the Almost Got Him episode,
Yeah.
to where they're all together, but then it's like the doctor asks, all right, now it's your turn, Jonathan, for
Yeah.
Jonathan Crane. And then it's almost like him telling of the story, almost his origin or
Yeah.
one of his, and then it plays episodic that way. And then
Mhm.
how Batman takes him down. And then it comes back to the end of that is back to the circle, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Next episode, same thing, but another villain.
Yeah.
I've been writing this in my head for a while.
Okay.
But I'm like, that'd be a freaking cool ass
Yeah.
world building episode, like series or something for Arkham. I'd love something like that.
I'm excited for it and the Penguin. I'm really excited for the Penguin
So excited
because
for
of
Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, he was
that
good.
was. I mean, I got to sit by Pete's brother, but I really wanted to sit by Pete at the watch party.
Yeah.
Watching him see this new version of one of his favorite characters that I knew he was just gonna love, and of course he did.
Yeah.
Oh, he loved Oz so much. I just wanted to see that reaction.
Best live action take on the Penguin we've had.
I feel like I need a little bit more of him, but I mean, just because he was, I mean, like the fourth,
He's not like full on Penguin yet, but
he's not full on Penguin yet. Danny DeVito was the second name on the call sheet, and he was a lot in Batman Returns. He wasn't necessarily like a supporting character. I don't think he was almost like a main character of that movie. And anybody listening is very clear on your feelings on that movie. But to me, that movie did what Tim Burton wanted it to do, and it made the Penguin interesting to me. But Farrell, I mean, absolutely, Farrell could, when all said and done with his take on this character, could be like, yeah, Farrell's the king on Penguin, because I loved every moment that he was on screen.
I'll say this: I was someone I'm always asked, is there something you didn't like about the Dark Knight trilogy? Or is there something you would have done differently? And one of the things I bring up, I think every time, is like, I think you could have got the Penguin in the Dark Knight as a mob boss.
I do too. Yep.
Now looking back,
that was such a fan, like, constantly brought up too. Looking back, okay, in hindsight, now that we got the Batman, we've got Colin Farrell. I want to call him. I'm kind of combining Farrell because of the Penguin and Penguin.
I'm almost glad I didn't happen, because now this Penguin is what it is, and it seems so fresh, because we have never really we haven't gotten this. We got DeVito, where Burton did the Burton thing on him and made him a freaking Penguin actually, and then Burgess Meredith was more of a, it is what it is,
It is at the time.
It was the comic book version of the Penguin at that time, who was basically a guy who wanted to get Batman and went around with crazy umbrella contraptions.
I
mean, that's what it was, So, this is where I like the mob boss Penguin. I think that works, and it really works when you're grounded and trying to keep things grounded and realistic.
And it feels very organic with the story and the universe too, of his position in the Batman, hinted at in that prequel book, which you don't have to read to understand the movie, but it does, like, it expands that a little bit more even. And now how he felt towards Falcone right before Falcone got shot, and now it is exactly what Batman narrates at the end of it's open. You're going to have people fighting for control, and that's beginning of the Penguin to me. And it just feels completely natural that's our next step.
That shot of him looking out on Gotham,
the
same time Batman's helping, and he's writing in his journal afterwards, apparently. So we got the Batman universe, man. A lot coming. It's going to be fun, right?
I'm here for all of it.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to bring up. There was a couple of really good articles from the costume designers talking about the Bat
I haven't
suit.
read those yet.
And I did not Collider. It was Slash Film. Okay. One of the few good sites left. Sorry, it's just truth. They interviewed the two guys. And I kind of did some excerpts, some highlights. It's on Batman on Film. But the real thing that really struck me, to make it was going to make the suit as realistic as possible, which was kind of the slant with the Dark Knight trilogy, but it was like a full on, like, big time, like a prototype advanced soldier suit, whereas this one was Bruce Wayne made it himself. And they said they took inspiration from, like, Vietnam era army suits. And also, surprise, surprise, the cowl was very much influenced by Adam West.
No.
And the Grim Reaper. They said they wanted the cowl to look like, they wanted him to look like a skull. It's like that, like when Bruce Wayne made it, when he made the cowl, he fitted it over a skull. That's why you don't have, and which is, I really like this part, stood out to me. You notice it doesn't have the brow line having any type of expression. It's very neutral. They wanted to make sure the focus, all the emotion, all the emoting was done by, wait for it, Robert
His
Pattinson's
smile.
No, eyes.
Oh, eyes. Okay,
That's
got it.
why you don't put lenses on. So you don't get any emotion from the cowl except from the actor's eyes, and it worked. And you think about the Grim Reaper thing in the skull, and like, okay, yeah,
Cool.
I get what they went for here. And everything had to make a purpose. Everything had to have a purpose per Reeves. Everything had to have a purpose. Even the bat logo, it's Batarang type thing,
I get giddy with that. The watch party. I even turned toward Haas at that moment. I go, oh my God, I just love that.
Yeah.
You and I have talked. Just you and I have talked. How many hours about the Batman?
God almighty. A lot.
So anybody listening now, if you haven't listened to all of that, Bill loves the suit.
I do.
But I'm just asking, picking your brain.
Mm-hmm.
A change that you could see, maybe an addition you want to see, something you think organically that they would change, anything like that with the Bat.
I don't want them to jack with the cowl. Okay. I don't want them to jack with anything that comes off it being anything other than Bruce Wayne making it himself.
Okay. So even that stitching up around the head,
I love it, man.
Leave it all.
Leave it.
Okay.
I don't want some molded rubber thing.
Sure.
I think that worked so good. And the subtle, the sound effects they put in afterwards, when every time Batman moved his head, you could hear
the leather,
I like the bodysuit. I mean, it's just practical. I want them to keep that same logo, and they talked about the logo. Also, it's, they looked at what bats look like when they're flying, and that's how they came up with it. And it does have very subtle ears. It's right there. So
right on my hoodie.
I love it when he takes it off and puts it back on. It's just makes sense.
I think he throws that in the next one, or is that too? It's a knife, so he wouldn't. Because
talk about an addition. I think batarangs come in. I think he develops batarangs.
Mm-hmm.
If he can come up with lenses that are cameras, that maybe there's other type of electronic devices that will help him. I don't want to see it to get too out there.
Sure.
I don't want to see it too out there. What about you? I love that suit, man. I don't want to change it all that much. I know someone brought up, I think it was John Reagan, shout out John Reagan from the fan group, said, well, don't you think they'd have to change it because of, you got to sell toys? I said, well, to be fair, the suit didn't change from the second suit in Dark Knight. He still had the same suit in The Dark Knight Rises, and they still had plenty of Batman action figures from The Dark Knight Rises.
Let's be serious. We'll all buy it.
Yeah.
We'll buy everything. But I get the point. I get the question. I do.
Yeah.
For me, I want to see him grab one of the things out of his gauntlet and load it into his grapple gun. Because I think that could be because he didn't at no point, and you and I have talked about this too, at no point did in the movie did they take screen time for them to show us and tell us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that could be really cool for people, that we have that moment in the next one where he pulls it out and loads it, that they'd be like, oh shit, that was there all along. That's what he did with that. Because that's I like that a lot, because I've kind of always wondered myself too of, okay, a grapple gun. Depending on your iteration of Batman, he leaves them there. He's not like, Batman's not going and grabbing it every time he like hikes up a building or something and then loading it back and putting it in his belt. And a lot of times it's when he's on the move. So he's just leaving this shit all over the place.
Yeah.
So to think out, that part just made so much sense to me too. They're on
this is
on his gauntlet to reload all the time.
This is so okay.
We're nerds. It's okay.
All right. It seems like, though, is he releasing it or is it retracting back in at times?
No, that's.
Think about when he comes down and he confronts Catwoman for the first time. It looks like it's retracting back.
But when he
I don't know.
Was it the twin? The twin in the Iceberg Lounge when he shot him the first time he went in, he didn't go get it. It didn't pull back out through his leg, I don't think. I think it pulled him down, and then I don't know. There you go. Here you go, Matt Reeves.
Okay. It's
something that I've always wondered too. That's what I mean. As far as the actual hook and harpoon itself.
Yeah.
He's got it all right there. Like it's like he's got rounds of ammunition.
Yeah.
Around his forearm to just keep loading. Pretty sure that's explained in the upcoming The Art of the Batman book too.
Yeah, man. I wish that thing would get here. Was it April? Like middle of April when it's
I think the day that it ends up on HBO Max
is
the day that book's supposed to. So yeah, well, a month from today.
Okay.
That seems too far away. Damn it.
Well,
you'll get yours early. You'll get to do a review on it.
I already got it ordered. So if that happens, then I'm getting two and I'll give one away. If that's the case.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, there's another round of us nerding out completely and over the Batman.
I think I need to accept the fact because I think I even asked, I was a little pushed on time, like, around 30 minutes. Like, yeah. Bill, this is just complete BS. You and I can only talk 30 minutes about this movie.
That is true. All right. So let's get out of here then, because I could go on a tangent. I've already got all kind of things popping in my head right now. So go ahead and plug whatever, please. I want to say one thing real quick, not a tangent. That the Batman the Imposter show we did for the Batman Book Club.
Yeah,
that was a damn good show.
That was a great talk.
Yeah,
it was a great conversation, and response to it has been good. I'm not like a man of numbers because of business. I just look to see if people are downloading it, and it's gotten a lot of downloads and people are listening to it. So I thought. Thank you, sir, for coming on because it was a good conversation.
I want to say to folks, if you haven't listened to that, listen to it, Batman Book Club, and get that book, man. Okay, that's a really, really good Batman story, and we talk about it in detail. If you want to listen, but I highly recommend it.
You can track down the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. The Batman Book Club. Follow on Twitter at the Batman BC. But you can also go to Batman on Film proper where Bill posts. Thank you, sir. You post every episode on the website when they drop. So speaking of Batman on Film, I have reviews, interviews, other fun posts all over on Batman on Film. Just look for it there. And I believe on the 29th of this month is the next chapter in the White Knight universe from Sean Murphy. So I'll be reviewing that for BOF. So check that out.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like that White Knight universe.
I don't mind Batman Beyond. It's not like I'm in the mood for Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
But Sean Murphy has proven himself with two great chapters of the White Knight universe. Bruce Wayne is a focal point in this part, but it's heavily Batman Beyond, his version of like Batman Beyond. So the guy has done no wrong for me. So it's got me very excited for whatever's in store. I know nothing about it.
Here comes a tangent. I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
I'd like to see the original White Knight, just the premise adapted for our animated film, where the Joker becomes the hero and Batman becomes the villain to Gotham.
It's a pretty genius take.
Just saying.
You just want to see all those Batmobiles driving at the same time.
I do. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm just saying. Okay. Anything else you want to plug, Ryan?
Nope. I think that's it. I think we've covered it. Listen to the interview with Michael Uslan if you haven't already.
That's really good too. Michael was great.
Not because I had questions, because Michael Uslan, he drops knowledge. And he's just good to listen to. He's a great storyteller.
That was a show where you and I were the students and he was the teacher.
Yeah. Which I expected I'd be.
And we listened.
The student. Yeah.
And we just listened. And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That tells you all you need to know about Mr. U. Okay. For me, just go to Batman on Film. You'll find everything there, social media, whatever. And that's about it. So for Ryan, I'm Bill, and also Rachel will take us out. Thanks for listening to us nerd out over the Batman again. Go see it again also. Go see it a few more times while it's still in theaters for another month. One
That's
more
right.
month. It'll go past that though. Still,
It'll still be there once it's on HBO Max.
yeah, for sure. I'm gonna watch the hell out of it when it's on HBO Max too.
Thanks for listening to the Batman on Film Social Hour, Jett's official BOF podcast and vlog. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film. For BOF news only on Twitter, follow at the Batman on Film. For Jett and everyone at BOF, I'm announcer Rachel. Authoritative, definitive, the original Batman on Film.